So I'm just recording this video for my final project for CSCA20. So before I start, I just want to make a small notice that because of my Python is a bit weird on my computer, so I have to separate my whole project into two separate files in order to make it work, because my project involves both Pygame and Matplotlib, and I don't know why on my computer they seem not to be compatible with each other. I also talked to the professor about this, and he's fine with me separating the whole file into two. So yeah, that's the thing I want to just note it before I get started. And also, if you're gonna test this file, it is likely that it's not gonna work. It's gonna crash in the middle way, because Pygame is not like, it's not terminated when you run the matplotlib, so they're gonna be run at the same time. At least on my computer. Maybe it works on the TA's computer, but I'm not too sure. Yeah, just a note. And yeah, and before I start, just one more thing is that this program is designed to spread awareness of anxiety, prevalence, and bipolar disorder in current world. The predictions generated by this program is not scientifically accurate. Like the predictions, I mean, I do have some like information. I do have some like scientific article to back up my information, but just like, of course, this is not accurate at all. I just I just feel like it's a fun and a cool way to assess those levels. Yeah, so okay, so basically this is the whole project, but this is not gonna work on my side, so I separate into the first one. This is the main one, this is the main two. These two are the separated files from a project. This project game.py, this is a Pygame file that this is the game file I made. And okay, so I'm just gonna run the program. Just gonna run this. Type ES to start, and I'm just gonna type something bad, whatever it is. Okay, and I'm just gonna type ES to start right now. Good. After typing yes, it's gonna prompt you to play this game. You can mute the music here if you want to. I'm just gonna mute it because it's kind of loud. So it's a simple memory game, like that. There are 5 levels in total of this game, and I made a timer here just to track the time you spent, the time the user spent in the game, and I intentionally made the timer like a little bit slower, just in case if the user really can't like finish it on time, like that, just to make the user feel better. And this is a very simple game, so you just click 2 cards and you flip them, and if they match, they just match. They just like this. If they don't match like this, they're gonna stop there for a few seconds. You can use that time to remember the cards, and after you complete the first level, you can press space to proceed to next level. This is level 2. I'm just gonna finish level 2 and not gonna do level 3, 4, 5, because it just kind of time consuming. Okay. You know what, I'm just gonna close this game. It's like this idea, like after you complete a level, you just press space to enter the next level. You can always like put the music back. I'm just gonna close this, and after you're done with the game, you move on to the second file. But before you move on to the second file, make sure the Pygame is fully terminated on your side. Otherwise, it's gonna be the same problem again. So I'm gonna run this file. Sorry, I'm gonna run this file. It's gonna give you a menu, and just make sure you follow the order of the menu to run the program. Otherwise, the program is gonna prompt you back to the menu. So you have to, yeah, like that. Except the P and E sections, but these are just for your reference. I mean, E is for end the program, P is for your reference. So I'm just gonna start, and I'm just gonna type in something bad first. Yeah, I'm just gonna make this sing whatever. I like that. Okay, so I'm gonna say, let's say I'm gonna do A first, and you're gonna say, please try the game first by selecting T. So I'm just gonna do T. Please type in the time you spent in the format of minute, and second. So it has to be something like this. If you type something like, let's say like this, it's not gonna work. It's just make sure it matches the format. So I'm not gonna type in any bad input right now, because just for the sake of time. Let's say I finished this game in, just one more note is that if you type any time that's like more than 10 minutes, even including 10 minutes, just know why you spend this long in the game, so just make sure you don't do that. And So I spent 1 minute and 34 seconds. So after enter that, it's gonna say thank you for the information. The time you spent is 1 minute and 34 seconds. Type yes to confirm or no to change. You can type no. It's gonna ask you to do it again. And if you confirm, now it's gonna say thank you for the information. Your time spent in second is 93 seconds. Okay, and after you're done the T, then you can move on to A. And also don't do B, M, or C, because if you do B, it's gonna say please check out the A section before this. If you do M, it's the same idea. So you do A, and just wait a few seconds. You will be redirected to a web page. And this is the web page you will be redirected to. Basically, this is the a simple web page I made. Yeah, like all these informations are gathered from the like a scientific article. It's not just made up. So this graph is I plotted by Matplotlib based on the time people spent averagely on this game. So yeah, and these are the evaluations I made. So basically you can check your thing based on your seconds. Yeah, and yeah, that's it. And here all information is collected from this article. If you click this, it's gonna direct you to this article. If you go back, and after you're done checking, just close this and you go back to the your IDE. And after that, it's gonna say basically you'll see it's like 3, 2, 1, and then you'll be redirected. And you must be familiar with the term short-term memory, and you are in category 3, which is you're pretty good, you're amazing at memory stuff, which is good. And I just hope you enjoy this little game. The time you spend on the game can be directly linked to short-term memory, which reflects anxiety and bipolar disorder level in human beings. So that's kind of surprising, right? Yeah, and you can select B and M to learn more about these. So I'm gonna do B first. The problem of increasing bipolar disorder has troubled the researchers for decades, and you can type in the country name to check out that country's bipolar disorder prevalence from 1990 to 2019, or just next to proceed. So I'm just gonna do a few things. Let's say I'm gonna I'll do a bad input first. Let's say if this country doesn't exist, it's just gonna say doesn't exist or there's a typo. So let's say I'm gonna do Canada, and it's gonna give you a graph of Canada's bipolar disorder prevalence from 1990 to 2019. I'm just gonna make this longer. Here are the years. I make these things like this. It's not too hard to read. And after I close this, go back, and you can keep typing stuff. Let's say I'll do Japan. Yes, this is the file for Japan. If you close this, and let's say, oh yeah, one thing to keep in mind is that if you do, you have to capitalize the first letter. If you do Canada, it's not gonna work. So you have to do this, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It works for basically all of the countries. France, Germany, yeah, basically. Okay, I'm just gonna move on. I'm just gonna type next to proceed. So let's now compare the different countries' bipolar disorder prevalence percentage. Now we can type in 2 countries or no to end the section. So let's say the country name number 1, I'm gonna do Canada. Number 2, I'm gonna do France. It's gonna return you give you a graph of this like year from still from 1990 to 2019. It's just Canada versus France. Somehow the bipolar disorder percentage are quite distinct between all the countries, so it might look a bit weird, but this is like that. Oh, and if you type something like this, it doesn't exist. This doesn't exist. Like Canada, it doesn't like it's not gonna work. Okay, so I'm just gonna do last one, Japan, and let's say Italy. Yeah, like this. Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna type no to end the section. Yes, so this section has already been ended, and right now I can move on to M. So if I do M right now, it's the same idea for B. B stands for bipolar disorder. M stands for I don't know what M stands for, but M is for anxiety prevalence. So it's the same idea. So if you type the country name, let's say I want to Canada. This is the Canada's anxiety prevalence from 1990 to 2019, this graph. And if you do another one, let's do China. Yep, it's like this. And one more, let's do Brazil. Yeah. Yeah, it's the same idea. If you type something bad, it's gonna say try again. And if you type something like non-capitalized, it's also bad. Okay, so I'm just gonna go to next to proceed. And the same idea, you can type in 2 countries right now, in Canada and Mexico. Yes, this is the data graph for Canada and Mexico. Let's do United Kingdom and France. Yes, this is that. I'm gonna do one more. Let's do South Korea and an interesting one. United States, Virgin Islands. Yeah, it's a funny one. Okay. Yes. Okay. And you can type no here. And one more thing to note that is that if you want to check United States, make sure you include an asterisk after this. It's also set in the note section. It's somewhere. Oh yeah, here. Make sure to include this thing here. Otherwise, it won't work. I can show you. Like this. It won't work. Like it just stated that it doesn't exist. So if you want to check United States, you have to include the asterisk, and let's just randomly compare country. Yes, like that. Okay. I'm just gonna move on. And yeah, just gonna program it, and then now we can move on to C, which is the conclusion part. If you type C, and now since we are done BABM, C is accessible right now. If you type C, it's gonna based on the time you spend in the game, the likelihood of you getting affected by anxiety is like super low, and the likelihood of you getting affected by bipolar disorder is even lower. So yeah, basically, and this is what C does, like gives you a conclusion, and that's almost the end of the program. And for section L, you can choose to leave a comment and just do L. Thank you for using. Hope you enjoyed it. So would you mind leaving a comment for your experience? If you type yes, then that's great. If you type no, it's gonna ask you, are you sure you don't want to leave a comment? Well, if you say no, then sure. But if you change your mind, it's a yes, you're gonna be directed to the form, and which is here. You can type the comment below to let me know how I can improve the program. Yes, and yeah. And for section P, this is just print out all the data used for the user's reference to make sure everything is correct. Yeah, here are all the data I used. I noticed that in the terminal, I think it's because of the space issue, not all of the data are printed out here because it's just not enough spaces. And also because I used SQL to merge the bipolar disorder and anxiety data together, like the percentage you see here, the format might seem to be a little weird because the code might not be aligned with each other. But basically these are all the data used. Yeah, and I'm just gonna and then you can just end the program. Yeah, program ended. So yeah, that's basically everything, and yeah, that's all. So just one last thing to make sure is that so audience so the Pygame, the project game I designed is based on a Pygame video tutorial. I attached a link here, and of course with modifications, it's like different images, different things. The images are downloaded from this website, and the audio is from here. The font is here, and the data for the plot on the website, the first website you see, they're gathered from like my friends or like others by playing this game. And the information are from this article, which is exactly the one you saw on that website. And the bipolar disorder and anxiety disorder, they're downloaded from our world in data, which is here. And I just want to say, so where's the section C? I made these two formula to generate the predictions. I know I can use other things to do machine learning, but it doesn't work on my Python. I don't know why. So I tried to find some articles with data, but sadly they don't have data there, so they just have some like rough data. So I mean, they don't have the data for me to download, so they just have some rough data, and I came up with these two equations from the data. So this is not scientifically accurate, it's just the way to assess the level. Like, that's kind of fun like that. Yeah, and yeah, I think that's all. And oh yeah, and also for the SQL tools, I use the one Professor Brian Harrington posted in the Quarkus page. Okay, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Yeah.